Beethoven Sonata, Opus 31, number 2, Tempest. We want to talk about some technical difficulties, and we all know the problem with the repetition at the beginning. If you see it from the technical point, you have just the adagio chord to warm up, and these are only 2 bars, so it's not enough to really be warmed up, and you have to do these repetitions. And very important, I think, is always have in mind it's allegro, it's not a presto. You don't have to rush, you have to play it really in an allegro tempo and not molto allegro and not allegro con brio, allegro. Just show the beginning. Thank you. Thank you. You do the repetition with 4/3.
Yeah.
And, well, I think in this special case, we can be happy if it works. And so we don't have to care about the fingering. We have to find a solution that it works. Yeah. And with your interpretation, it works very well. Mare Peraya wrote 3/2 for the repetition, and we just tried it out. Can you just show how it looks and how it works with 3/2?
Slowly. Okay.
Yes, if you can play it in tempo. Yeah, this even works very well. If I am very, very critical, I would think this was even better.
Oh, okay.
But, well, it's up to you. I think there is a moment where fingering, it's just a proposal, and we are free to find a way to do it. If you play one note with your nose, it's possible. And but please show the audience how you practice it.
Okay. I practice this passage very slowly at first, and then I made some like rhythmical, very end variation, yeah, like. And also like something like this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it's very good for concentration because we have the jumps from here. It's the 1 octave jumps. And then if we like just practice so fast, we will not have time to concentrate on the jumps here.
Yeah. And but what I like very much, you play slowly, but you play with emotion.
Yeah.
And I think this is also very important. If you practice a technical moment, you should always have the music in mind and try to include crescendi and preparation for a fermata or whatever. And this comes out very, very good. Okay, then this one. What is your approach technically to this? How do you do it?
Yeah. First, I had the problem in this passage so many times because when I play it in the forte, I will make some mistakes like.
Yes.
Oh yeah. But I just asked Mr. Tansky, and then he just said to me like I can solve this problem by not connect D and F together. Just and then put my hand out and then pop in another direction. Like like this.
Yes, and it works.
And this works
Yeah,
much
yeah.
better than just.
Yes,
Yeah.
And what is also important, I think, you play the right hand really wonderful. It's a kind of tremolo, and it should not be not sound like a that you hear this so much and you can't follow the melody, especially when the piano comes with the overtaking hands. Can you show it again? And also here we should have in mind at the beginning it is forte, not fortissimo. And well, later in the development we have the fortissimo. And well, I think there it is important to shape the different chords. It's like in a choral where some chords are more important than the others, and you have a solution and you have a tension. And so in the development it should not be always the same loudness. And it would be just see, this passage. When you start with the fortissimo, but then here is forte in brackets, and then it could be more and more and more, but not always the same. Can you show it?
For me, I think like here in the first F sharp minor is the Grundstellung is the Grundstellung, the root position of the chord.
Normal position, yes.
And the second we have like is the second inversion.
Yes.
And then we have again F sharp minor, but it's in the first inversion. And then we have B minor. Is in the root position,
even
so it
more,
can be much more stronger.
Yes. Yeah. I think it comes out wonderful, and so always, and this is also my proposal for a lot of pianists: don't play too loud. It is violent, it is strong, but it should not destroy the piano. And well, I once had a student in a masterclass, and he really destroyed the F sharp, and at least he had the key in his hand. This should not happen. Well, could you show the largo, this con espressione again, how you touch this pianissimo with the pedal? You change the pedal very slightly. What are you doing that it is going through?
I think for the pedal, I hear the sound. I have to hear the sound very carefully. I don't have to make the sound like I don't want the sound to be like this. So I need to rechange, but just very little, not the whole change, but just very little.
And the left hand.
And then I put my left hand. I never like take my left hand off, so I can sustain the sound of A major chord.
It comes.
And it's. I think it's very wonderful way to do it.
I would always propose to when you practice this that you just take in this case this chord and then you improvise something. Like this, and of course it depends on the piano, and maybe it's different from piano to piano. And but this is right. This is a thing of trying out and listening.
Yeah.
Very good. The end.
the end.
Can you show the left hand, because this is always a big problem.
I did like, and then thumb again.
Then you, yeah.
Yeah, because I want the sound like.
So you must try to
must-
avoid an accent, but it works.
Yeah.
Good. Okay, second movement. I think if you have a wonderful cantabile and you have good chords, then there is a less technical problems. But this one where you go over with the left hand, it's really a problem. And can you just show some bars from the beginning? Your touch, what are you doing? You have the pedal.
I try to play like as soft as possible.
Yes.
Actually, yeah. And I try to like just concentrate on the melody on my right hand. Because if I just concentrate on my left hand, my mind gonna be like it's I gonna be so very busy on my mind. Yeah. So I just try to follow the melody and then everything gonna be fine.
The rest works by itself.
Yeah. And I think for me the most difficult passage is the tremolo in the left hand, yeah. Because sometimes it works, sometimes it's not so even, and sometimes it's not so good, yeah. So I practice like, and then just once, and then.
And how about pedal in this tremolo?
I don't use any pedal, yeah.
Okay, and left pedal?
Left
For
pedal.
the pianissimo?
Yeah. I use my left pedal, of course. Like,
This is really great.
Yeah.
And one can hear the timpanis doing it.
And also on the my right hand is like some woodwinds or some brass.
Yes.
And it's contrast with my left hand. It's the most important thing is to play the legato as possible in the right hand.
Yeah. And not to be too shy to show expression and cantabile. Yeah, you do wonderful. And so maybe it helps also to practice such things sometimes in mezzo forte, the melody.
Like,
yes.
And also without pedal when I practice like, and try to connect the melody.
Yes, with silent finger change if possible. Yeah. So then you have done an important step to be a good organist too.
Yeah.
Okay, and a third movement?
Third movement.
What would you think? What would be
the most hardest thing is the jumps. In the there are so many jumps.
Yeah, can you show this?
Yeah, like and also on the left hand in this passage. It's very hard.
What do you do to practice such a jump? Do you take time, or do you speed up? What are you doing?
I just practice slowly.
Okay,
Actually,
try
and then I
show us.
I play like.
And such things.
Yeah, and also on my left hand in this passage, I practice like something like this.
Okay, so you play double chords instead of only.
And sometimes like
okay, good.
And also something like this. Yeah.
Okay.
And also the most trickiest thing in this movement, I think, is the chromatic in the end. for me.
Yeah, yeah.
At the end, the quality is very hard.
Show us this.
Yeah, because sometimes when I play so many mistakes. Like something is gonna be
in the
tutorial.
score, it's written to do it with both hands. Yeah, but I think this is a big risk.
Yeah. It's very
I would
hard.
take the first D with the left hand and then you play an octave.
Actually, I did like
Yes.
this. Also, the left hand is, I think, it's quite so risky. So we have to practice hands separately.
Yes.
Like.
And also maybe even if it's fortissimo, leading with the right hand and not so much care for the left hand. It should follow. Can you show? But here, I think it should be strong at the beginning, and then. And at the end of the sonata, remaining for a moment on the keyboard without moving, or finish and get up, stand up and bowing. What would you do?
Depends on the feeling. It depends on the feeling. I think, we don't have to think so much because the performance will not come so very natural if we think so much.
Yes, this is right. Yeah, this is one of your really great qualities, and one can hear you have such a passion and a joy to play, and this also gives me a lot of passion and joy for you. Beethoven once was asked what was his intention about composing this piece, and he just said, read the Tempest of Shakespeare. And in all the last decades, there have been a lot of books and thinking about this title and what you really can find from the Shakespeare play here in this sonata. And I think it's not important to find connections between the text and a special bar in Beethoven, but it just creates this atmosphere. And in Tempest of Shakespeare, Ariel says, hell is empty and the devils are all here. And there are some passages where you could imagine this. And also Beethoven is supposed to have said, hier muss es ordentlich krachen. You have to do a lot of noise here. And but we should always have in mind that there are some really loud passage with great expression, but they are still in forte. Fortissimo is not everywhere, so be careful not to destroy the piano. And the second movement is a wonderful, I think, a dialogue between a kind of innocent espressivo melody and chords in between, and also some kind of timpanis in between, which create an atmosphere, kind of three-dimensional listening. And the last movement is one of the most famous movements of Beethoven, and but it is written allegretto and not allegro con brio or even faster, like it is sometimes played. And you showed in your wonderful performance that it is possible to really make out a great interpretation and to look at the allegretto. You are 16 years old, and you gave me such a pleasure in all the lessons, and also my colleagues in different commissions listening to you. I would just like to ask you, what is important for the interpretation for first movement, second movement, third movement? What is in your mind playing?
First of all, I think the most important thing for the first movement is you have to make the contrast between the forte and the piano, or the pianissimo, because the title of sonata is the Strom Sonata, and then it is quite so special, because this piece it begins with the dominant, the A major. So this thing never happened in his sonata before.
Yeah. And it is just a kind of open.
Open.
You don't know what happened. It's a question mark.
Yeah, and then the Strom comes here.
Yes.
Yeah, but nobody knows that this piece is in D minor. But they knows when this passage arrive. It's like the first recognition that this piece is in D minor key. Yeah. And also,
What do you think about the development?
the development.
Well, we have always the same, but we have different chords and
We have
different
F sharp
keys.
minor. I think it has more intention, more intent. The chord is more intense than the D minor, I think. And then,
Well, and the recitativo with
Recitativo.
the famous pedal section.
Yeah.
Just play it. Again, we have listened to the performance.
Yeah, I think this passage is really special passage in this sonata.
It is like a voice coming from heaven or from anywhere, and you can't identify what really happens. And it sometimes reminds me on kind of recitativi in Mozart operas. When Tamino is asked, and they don't know what will happen, and then it said it's not allowed to talk about what will happen, and or recitativo in one of the Bach passions, and something like this. Well, how do you do the pedal there? It's just one pedal written, and it's always a discussion what to do.
I do with the one pedal, actually, and then I had some special thing. This you already told me, when I play this passage, I need to keep the bass, my left hand.
And then you slightly can move the pedal.
I can move the pedal a bit, because if I place my left hand on the keyboard, the sound will be sustained, automatically sustained.
Yes. It's a very interesting fact that I have an edition of Ignaz Moscheles. And Ignaz Moscheles was not only a very good composer and a fantastic pianist, but he was a friend of Beethoven. And they exchanged letters. He did an edition of all the Beethoven sonatas, and I here have one print which is sure before 1863, because there is written a name of an owner, 1863. And well, Moscheles just writes, after the chord, he writes pedal end. Very strange, of course. And here, at the end of the whole movement, he just writes one pedal in D minor. And of course, we could say later all the checking of sources and tradition and thinking about have created this moment where we have this pedal. But a friend of Beethoven who gave this edition, he really said, leave the pedal.
Leave the pedal.
Very interesting, but of course, we cannot follow this anymore because behind us is the tradition of hundreds of years and hundreds of great pianists who did something with the pedal. Yeah. And we have such things also in Haydn C major sonata, where there is this moment with where it's written open pedal.
I see.
And then it sounds maybe a little bit like this. But I think your pianissimo comes out really very, very good. And I like this very much. Yeah. What about the end of the first movement? So the music almost disappears, and the technical approach should be just doing nothing, like cleaning the dust from the keyboard, and it's a little bit like in Opus 111 at the end.
I think in this case it has some feeling of the storm feeling.
Yes.
Yeah, because
still, yes,
it's not quite so peaceful ending.
Yeah, this is a very good argument. Yeah, and I know you do it like this. Yeah. Very good. Second movement. What is
second
this?
Movement. Yeah, I think it's like the day after the storm in the second movement. And it has, as you say, it has so many characters. It has the sweet voice.
So not the calm before the storm, but the calm after the storm.
After the storm. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And what is this with this wonderful melody in the right hand, and which is in contrast?
It's in contrast with the tremolo in.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of reminded the storm happened in the first movement.
Yeah. So kind of echo of this emotion. Yeah. And do you think that one should have a big difference in sound between this melody and the harmony? Could you just play the first line again? I think if you have this sforzato, I would do it a little bit more. Yes, it's a kind of real pain. Yes. Can you do maybe a little bit before from here? I think one could discuss, really. And here we have the same situation we talked about in Opus 26. This kind of crescendo and then sudden piano. Normally you would expect another accent, but then it goes back.
It's like the surprise for the audience.
Right? Yes, maybe. Or later, here we have the crescendo and sforzato and piano and crescendo again. Can you show this? Yes. So it's always also a kind of moving of emotion. Like this. And very special is the end, where we have this really very, I think even written quite complicated. We have this crescendo and then piano. Yeah, and it is a semi-quaver, so it must be quite short. 2 notes, you play the C, but the one is in crescendo and the other is in piano. Can you show it? Well, maybe one could even discuss to make the rhythm sharper. So it comes a little bit faster because it's a kind of double point. Yeah, but and then piano.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. And then the music disappears. Maybe one would expect something. But it's just one note. What is your feeling for third movement? Would you like to take quite a big break that the audience can take out the
No, I don't want
program
to take it.
or coughing or whatever? Or would you like to do it more attacca?
It's not so attacca actually, but I don't want to take so long time between the second and third movements. Yeah.
Would you like to show your idea? Maybe the last. Yes. What do you think? Is it a kind of relax, quietness, or is it in the sense of Schubert Gretchen am Spinnrad?
No.
Which is a quite. Meine Ruhe ist hin, mein Herz ist schwer, my quietness is disappeared, and my heart is full of sorrow. What do you think? What happens there?
I think it's a bit so sorrow, a bit so painful here. And actually, I think the tempo is a bit like the waltz. Bum, 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 bum,
Yeah, why not?
But it's in some very painful way.
Yes,
Yeah.
very painful way, which has later a kind of breakout here when the B flat major comes. Yeah.
So I think one of the most important passages in this moment is the moment when the B flat minor is coming.
Yes.
Sorry,
B flat minor, of course.
B flat
Yeah.
minor.
Can you show this moment where here when it's really strong? And later we have some harmonic changes, which are a kind of surprise. I think. For example, here, and we have and we have also this surprising range of dynamics. We have a pianissimo,
and then suddenly
and then
fortissimo.
suddenly. Can you start a little bit before to show it? And you already played now the end, which is really wonderful.
Yeah.
And it is another sonata, like the sonata of Sayoko with Opus 26, which just disappears in nowhere. It's like open
And it's quite so
window.
extraordinary feeling.
Yes, yes.
I think.
And interesting that there is a triplet at the end.
Yeah.
So it is so much pianissimo and piano that one cannot follow the rhythm. It just disappears.
And I want to show something. The passage I like the most in this moment is the passage when the B flat minor arrives.
Yes. Can you do a little bit before?
Okay.
So that we can hear this change? So it is a sonata with the greatest, biggest and heaviest possible contrasts, from pianissimo to shouting fortissimo and very, very big chords, and but also extremely sensitive pianissimo and handling of the pedal. Thank you very much, and this was a wonderful performance, and I'm happy that you really know what you do. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.